So tell us the craziest party story.
I actually like gambling, you see. So I play poker actually. And there was one night where I remember very vividly was went to the casino at 3 a.m. played the blackjack tables, and then I was down to my last £5.
Irreverent Podcast.
This entire episode is sponsored by Mount Nova NMN supplements. Buy now at the links in the description.
All right, welcome to the Irreverent Podcast. We have our host here, Ivan, and our guest, Sean.
Hey guys.
So this is our first time, so we're just gonna YOLO it. We're probably gonna cut this out. Okay, but would you like to just do a self-introduction, like a very simple one?
Yeah, sure. So I've been basically living in Hong Kong all my life. I grew up in Hong Kong, went to an international school, and I started off studying a business degree, and I worked for a year before I moved into law. I practiced as a solicitor in Hong Kong for, let's say, around 4 years, and then I literally just moved in-house. I'll just say that, and it's in the crypto industry.
Okay, right. So I think our first topic we're going to discuss is what you do right now, as in your full-time job, and also if you have any side businesses. So would you like to share anything about that?
Sure. So now I'm working as an in-house counsel. I'll just say it's in the crypto industry, and I'm also helping my family business, which sells New York cheesecake, and I basically during the day I'm working my main job, and at night I'm doing a lot of the back end stuff for my cake business. Yeah.
Okay, so I remember when I first met you, you were telling me how one of the troubles you were having was, or not really troubles, but you had to make a decision where you had your friends tell you to have vegan cheesecake options, but you decided not to. Well, what was the reasoning behind that? Was there any specific reason?
So I think the market for vegans in Hong Kong is not as developed as let's say in Europe or even Australia, and so the market's there's not enough potential there yet. It's still growing for sure, and yeah. So basically, it's an issue of demand. Yeah.
So issue with demand. So that's an actual business decision. So you felt like maybe 5 people a day would actually choose the vegan option, right? And then you decided, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. I'm not gonna do it.
Not even 5 people a day.
Not even 5 people a day.
So it's a profitability issue, right? So the fact that you need to put that on the menu, the fact that you need to bake those separately, logistically and everything, it doesn't make sense from a business perspective.
Exactly. And I would have to separate everything just for that small market, I think. Yeah. But I mean, of course, there are a lot of businesses that already specialize in offering vegetarian or vegan options. So that's not the path I chose. And yeah, I think it was quite deliberate in that sense.
So your cake business is, are we allowed to name the name?
Of course. Okay. So the name is Sbakery.
Sbakery. So you guys are available
So we have a shop now in Shangwan, Taiping Shan Street.
Okay.
And we have a pop-up at Landmark.
Okay, Landmark. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Landmark.
So that's pretty dope.
That's dope.
Yeah. So I'm just wondering, since this is a family business, how long has it been running for, and what is the history of it? Did you start selling in the streets prior to having
So it actually started, I'd say unofficially in 2017, but we started off at basically at home, but it was really only for friends and family, and then after we went on hiatus for a bit, and then we finally started again, and we started off in actually co-sharing kitchen spaces, where we started where it was actually a food factory licensed co-sharing kitchen space, but we would share with other sort of chefs that were also running a sort of online food business, but obviously you can only go so far in co-sharing kitchen spaces, and that's what we realized, because we went from one to another co-sharing space where a chef at the first co-sharing space offered, hey, I've got a space, why don't you come share it with us and we'll just rent it out together. But that didn't really work in terms of spacing, because as we continued the business, demand started increasing, we started getting more clientele, and so it was just very hard to share a kitchen with someone, and so we decided to have a 2-in-1 shop, which is our share one shop, where we had our kitchen with the license to bake, but also a storefront where we sell cakes. But basically we didn't have like any seating or anything. It was really for takeaway, and so it was like a grab and go, yeah, and that's how we sort of modeled the business.
So that sounds interesting, and tell me a little bit more about the kind of struggles of upscaling your business. So, for instance, you mentioned that the kitchen started as co-sharing. Did you have to physically share an oven with other chefs? And also, when it comes to delivering the goods and everything, right? For the clients to pick up, was there any like problems when it comes to like marketing your product, or letting the clients know where to pick it up, or how the whole delivery process is?
Yeah, for sure. Because firstly, sharing facilities is pretty tough, and also you need to plan the timing very well. Because some people work during the day, some people work during the night. So being able to fit in a schedule while having a day job to sort of make products is not easy. And obviously, when you don't have your own branding as well. So when you tell people you got to pick up at this co-sharing kitchen space, they'll see other brands and not your brand. So it's like, it doesn't give them a sense. It doesn't give it a sense of how do you say it, like something more personal. So they see another brand, but they're picking up your cake. But I guess the upside for that is you're paying less rent because you're sharing it, right? But obviously, when you have your own shop, there's a lot of costs, a huge capital outlay, especially with renovating and paying the rent as well. So the expenses really do increase quite significantly. I think people sort of underestimate that, especially in Hong Kong. So if you do decide to actually open a brick and mortar store in Hong Kong, it's a huge commitment, like huge. Yeah, I guess it was good that we sort of started off online as well. That sort of helped us build our brand slowly and build up our clientele and fan base. Yeah.
So I just want to add, like, so what's your philosophy on marketing? So how are you trying to grow your own personal cake brand?
So the starting point is always the product. If you have a good product, everything will fall into place. That's what I believe, anyways. And I guess the philosophy that we chose for the family business was to have one product. That was very, very deliberate, and to do that one product very well. Because people started asking, say, why don't you do other cakes and stuff? But we deliberately didn't decide to take that route, because we didn't want to be like other cake shops where we're offering like cake A, cake B, cake C. We wanted people to think of our brand and like, oh, it's just New York cheesecake, and if I want other cakes, I'll just go to Maxim or like some other place. Yeah. And I guess the market for New York cheesecake in Hong Kong there wasn't a lot of New York cheesecake in Hong Kong, or good New York cheesecake in Hong Kong. You get like Cheesecake Factory, sure, but that's like more mass produced and very, very sweet. So we catered more to like the Hong Kong palate.
Right.
And made things
so it's like
sweet.
the desserts, right? It's like the American dessert versus like the Hong Kong desserts, right? Like it's
the
Zhang,
taste wise, it's definitely more geared towards the Hong Kong palate. But size wise, it's like an American size, and we actually came to a point where we weren't sure whether some people were complaining about the size, but we did a poll online and asked, do you want us to reduce our sizes? And the majority wanted us to maintain our American size. So
what is the size like proportion size?
So we have whole cakes and slices. The slices are cut out from a 9-inch cake into 8. So it's actually pretty big. Like 2 people can probably have one slice.
Can have one portion.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I can eat one to myself, but Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but then you're so fit still. Like you eat cakes nonstop, but you're still really fit. Like
I don't eat it nonstop. No.
you don't eat it nonstop.
Yeah.
So how often do you eat your own cakes?
Not that often actually. It's only if like we have leftovers or anything, but we rarely have leftovers. So.
Got it. So like what about like your fitness routine, like your diet, your workout routine? What do you work on?
So in terms of diet, I do intermittent fasting. I've been doing that for many years. I used to follow a 16-8 regimen. So I'd fast for 16 hours and then eat for 8 hours.
So 16 hours of fasting, 8 hours of eating.
Yeah. And then now I will typically do the same, but on Mondays I've Sunday to Monday I'll have a 24-hour fast. So on Mondays I don't eat till dinner. That's been my sort of go-to for the past like year or so.
So for the audience that doesn't know, like that's something like after 6 you just don't eat every day.
Now I used to be more strict on that, but now I just kind of I'm not as strict on the timing anymore. But it's just so it's not really a diet for me anymore. It's become more of like a lifestyle for me.
Okay.
And in terms of like food I eat, I don't really count calories. I don't specifically watch what I eat, but I'll eat normal food. But I won't be just eating like boiled chicken breasts and broccoli because I think that's just really lame, and it's not how you should live life, and it's just not sustainable.
Right.
So if you're doing your fast on the weekends, how do you normally eat with friends?
So
happens?
if I'm going drinking that night, I mean that's what I meant by I'm not strict. Like I'm not like it doesn't matter even if one or 2 days that I don't do it, because
you have,
the
like,
rest of the
cheat
time
days.
I kind of do it. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't even classify it as that. I just kind of like, if I can do it, I'll do it. If I can't or I'm on holiday, then I just I can always like go back to it after the holiday or after the night. Doesn't really matter. Yeah, because I don't think that's just. But living it so strictly, being so strictly to yourself all the time, is just not a way, not sustainable, and you just won't be happy.
Yeah, fair point.
And in terms of like fitness and working out, I follow a push pull legs sort of routine. So on push days I'll be doing more chest workout, shoulders, basically pushing actions, and then the next day I'll be doing more pulling actions for the back. And then the third day would either be doing squats or I'll be doing some sort of HIIT. And I also play squash competitively. Yeah.
So how often do you play squash?
I used to play more, but now I try to play it 1 to 2 times a week. Because I also play for the football club. Yeah.
So you have to represent them to play on matches and that kind of stuff?
That's right. Yeah.
Do you have a Hong Kong ranking for squash?
Maybe when I was like a junior, but not anymore. But I started off with playing tennis. I had a junior ranking for tennis, but not squash.
And what did you rank for tennis?
My best ever was like under 18. I was like top 10. That was my best ever.
Damn.
Yeah. But I mean, after I went to university, I kind of stopped playing tennis and started playing more squash.
Yeah. So why do you switch from tennis to squash? If you're already ranking top 10.
I think I got burnt out from tennis. I just played too much of it. I was like training 6 times a week when I was a junior, and then I guess I literally got burnt out, and then I started picking up squash, and then and then I started liking it. But actually, even nowadays, I started getting a little bit bored of squash too, because I've been playing since I was like 17. So that's been over 10 years already. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you have anything to add to that?
I mean,
Fitness stuff?
like once you get bored of squash, do you have any upcoming sports you feel like you want to try out? And might want to do.
It's a good question.
competitively?
I haven't discovered that sport, but I've thought potentially of golf, because golf I think is
Yeah,
something.
you look like a golfer.
Yeah, no, for sure, a golfer. Yo, let's play golf sometime. Like I play golf as well.
Yeah, because my dad's also a very big golfer,
Okay.
and I think it's a sport that you can play like for a long time. Yeah, and my dad's like over 70 and he still plays it. Yeah.
Okay, so you go to the gym, right? You're a very achieved individual. What's your motivation in life? Why do you do all these things that you do?
It's a great question. I think I was very lucky in the way that my parents brought me up, because they always encouraged me to sort of work hard, and they also encouraged me like to also be very active as an individual. I think playing sport has made me build really good habits and be very disciplined, and I think that sort of translated to other things in life too. And it also kept me away from like, you know, drugs and like smoking. And I think that's a really big factor as to why some people are probably not so disciplined, because they might you know go down the bit of what you call the rabbit hole. I've managed to avoid doing that, and staying healthy and active and disciplined has helped me to sort of stay straight and stay focused. Yeah.
So have you been always this disciplined growing up? Because, you know, international school, you know, it has a reputation that it does, you know, people are not as tough as compared to local school. You don't have to necessarily study that many books or memorize that much, put in that many hours into studying. So what kept you going, or were you much different when you were younger?
It's also a very good question. I think I surrounded myself with the right people. I was very lucky because I went to German Swiss International School. And so compared to a lot of other international schools, German Swiss is the environment there is a lot more academic focused. And I think that environment also dictates how you grow up as an individual, for sure. And I was there basically from primary school. And then when I went to university, I went to Nottingham University, party school as well. But also again, my friends around me, they all smoked and drank, but they would never like, you know, force me to smoke or anything. And I never had that tendency to, I might have tried it, but I never had the tendency to want to keep doing it. And I guess I owe that to the environment that I've been in and my parents as well. Yeah.
So are your parents actually really strict on you, or they let you do pretty much anything you want growing up?
I would say that they're fair. I mean, they obviously wouldn't let me like, you know, like touch drugs or anything, or smoke as well. But they're also fair in the sense that they give me the freedom to go out to meet people. But obviously there are lines. Then as long as you don't cross them, then yeah, you're fine.
So as far as you remember back, what is the most severe discipline that you got from your parents?
Oh, I used to get caned. I mean, yeah.
Damn.
But that's pretty.
Do you think you deserved it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it helped to make me sort of more. It definitely disciplined me. I mean, yeah, it made me who I am today. And
Yeah, 'cause-
I mean, I guess I never was mad at them for that. Yeah, I never held a grudge or anything again like that against them. Yeah.
Yeah, because my parents would make me like stand in the corner for like an hour, or like put me in the garage and like turn off all the lights for like the entire night. Just like leave me in the garage. It was brutal.
That sounds
man.
more traumatizing. I mean.
Turn
Yeah,
off
it
the
sounds-
lights, turn off the lights, and then just like cold garage. Yeah, and I would just hear like sounds and shit. Like it was so scary, dude.
So what did you do when you got like locked up?
Dude, I was so scared. I couldn't do anything, man. I was just
Oh, man.
it was
That actually sounds
brutal.
worse. I'd
It was
probably rather
brutal.
get the what about a few minutes of caning rather than just be spent in like some sort of garage trapped in the dark for like so many hours. That can be traumatizing actually, psychologically as well. Actually, probably more psychological. Yeah.
That's why you turned out so fucked up, right?
Yo, wait, I'm the fucked up one. Okay. Well, okay. So what about like something like this? What's your approach, like for our male audience here? What's your approach to getting chicks, or like, yeah?
So because I've been like in a relationship for like 10 years or so, I guess it's been a long time since I've been in that game. But I guess what I can say is that it allows me to sort of see it from a third person's perspective. What I realize is that when guys go out when they're single, and I guess when I was single it's probably the same too, they have the sort of like hunting mentality.
Like predator versus prey.
Exactly, and that gives off a vibe to the opposite sex, and it can come off as sort of desperate, and they would sense that. But I think if guy
the bloodlust, they can just smell it.
exactly, so I think if guys sort of switched the approach and they changed it to thinking about, I want to go out, I want to have fun with my friends, I don't just care about hooking up with anything that moves. I think first they would have a much greater time, and they would give off a less desperate vibe. And when you have that less desperate vibe, and when people see you're having fun, you're a lot more attractive, I think.
But why do you think girls find that more attractive?
It's the same. Like, when, let's say for you, for example, if a girl comes on really hard on you, and like it's like it appears a bit like too easy, and then sometimes that can be a double-edged sword a little bit. So it's that desperation, right? It's just not as attractive. Whereas I guess it's human nature. If something's hard to get, it's a lot more
Less appealing.
if something's hard to get, it's more appealing.
More appealing.
Yeah.
More appealing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So yeah, I think it works both ways, I think.
So how do you draw a fine line between being too passive and not being desperate? Like, where's the fine line?
I think first you need to change the mindset from I want to go out to get laid, to I want to go out and have fun with my friends. I think once you change your mindset, it translates into your actions and the vibe you give off to. And yeah, I think even though I've been in a relationship for so long, I can still go out and have fun. And that's really enjoyable. Yeah, you don't always need to go out just to meet and hook up, I think. And I think a lot of people in Hong Kong make that mistake. I'm sure I did when I was like, going out in the beginning. I just had that hunting sort of mentality. I think it's a very common mistake a lot of guys make. And actually even girls, but then like people don't think about it. People only think about guys when they do it, but I think it works both ways, I think, a little bit. Yeah.
I think that's the learning process, right? That's like a coming of age kind of thing, where it's like, okay, so at first guys are just desperate, like we don't know how to actually approach girls, but afterwards like the girls approach us, and then so we kind of have to like learn how to balance it, right? Like the approaching them approaching us, and then yeah, like what do you have to add to that? Like from you going out, from you seeing like these kind of interactions, what do you have to say?
Yeah, actually, I have a question that's a bit off tangent. Do you think it was easier for you to get chicks back in uni, or easier to get chicks now that you've been working and have more life experience?
That's a good question. The life experience definitely helps, and also the fact that when you're older, you're more mature, and most girls find that more attractive. So I'd say with more life experience and when you start working, it's probably easier. Whereas when you're like uni, like you're just seen as like a kid who's really immature, who just wants to get like absolutely trashed, and like, yeah, I think that's not attractive to the opposite sex. I think you wouldn't want to see. It's the same for guys. Like you wouldn't want to see a girl that's just like going out partying every night and just getting trashed off her face. Like it's just not an attractive like look. Yeah.
So tell us the craziest party story when you were at uni. Let's start off with that.
At uni, okay. I've gotten like, so I've went on these sort of like just because I actually like gambling, you see. So I play poker actually.
Oh damn, me too. Yeah, we should play poker.
So
someday.
back in uni, I used to go. So I would get like pissed drunk, and then at like 3 a.m. I'd hit the casino, which is probably not a good idea, especially as a student, and basically you don't have a lot of money. So I go at 3 a.m. I tell my friend, hey, I'm going to the casino at 3 a.m. and then hit the blackjack tables, and my friend would have to come out and basically drag me out of the casino, or I just like gamble my life savings away. Yeah. And there was one night where I remember very vividly was I went to the casino at 3 a.m. played the blackjack tables. I just put in like 20 pounds or something. I was playing like the 2 pound table or something. And then I was down to my last 5 pounds. My friend had already arrived, so I was like, okay, fine, let's just play this So basically, there's in the box. There's a main box and a perfect pair box. So perfect pair, how that works is, if the dealer deals you like the same card, because it's 6 decks, right? Or let's say it's the same card but different suit, you get a payout. And if it's the same suit, it's like 30-1. If it's a different suit, it's like 15-1 or 20-1. I can't remember exactly. So I was on my last £5. My friend had to remind me the next day because I sort of blacked out. So I put the £2 on the main box. I put £3 in the perfect pair, and the dealer dealt out Queen of Hearts, and then Queen of Hearts again. So, but I actually lost that hand. Okay, I still lost with 20. Right, the dealer got 21, but I won my perfect pair, and then I woke up the next day in my bed. I just saw a wad of cash in my wallet. I was like, holy shit! Like it was £90 in my wallet. It's quite a lot for a student. I mean, like, I was like, wow, this is like insane. Yeah, that was one of the stories that I really remember quite vividly now. Yeah.
Core memory unlocked right there. Well, is there anything else you want to add to this podcast? Just any last few words? I think we're approaching
Any
30
advice
minutes.
for the audience out there who want to be like you?
Any advice for the young ones that want to become successful and like Zaya and get so many girls like Sean over here?
I mean, just stay. I think just stay. Stay humble. And just always think about how to try to improve yourself. I think as an individual. And just be. I think being kind to others is also a big thing. Don't be an asshole, basically. And yeah.
Sounds good, man. Let's.
Do you want to shout out any of your socials or? Nah.
No socials. just anonymous. You can catch us at Padre.
Yo, come to Sean's table on Padre. Say you saw him at a podcast.
Middle table, the big ass vodka Belvedere. Let's go.
But you gotta buy shots. If you come to his table, you gotta buy shots. You buy shots.
We're probably cutting that out, by the way. But like,
no, that's fine. It's fine. We actually want shots.
That's hilarious.
okay. Yeah, I think what are we? We're
Cool.
approaching. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
How long was that?
I don't actually know.